Welcome to Talking Down the Highway, a Beach Boys podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Tim.
That was Bowie. Hi, Bowie.
Bowie the dog.
Bowie the dog.
Dog. Moon dog.
Moon Doggy. I like it.
Perro de Luna.
Oh, Perro de Luna. Oh, I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
I don't.
Okay, good.
But Bowie does.
But Bowie does. He does. He is fluent. Many languages, including the moon language.
How y'all doing? Wow.
I'm ready to talk down the highway.
I just had like half a cup of coffee, so.
Hey, I just had a A&W root beer made fresh. Root beer, I don't know what that means.
They squeezed the sarsaparilla right out of their...
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tim said he was running late, so I just ducked into the nearest watering hole,
A&W
grabbed
KFC.
myself an A&W made fresh with real cane sugar.
Ooh.
Give me some root beer. Chug-a-lug.
That was last week.
Oh, sorry. We're ready for something else? Okay.
Yeah.
No root beer. I was very disappointed listening to Surfin U.S.A. this week. I was disappointed there was no root beer.
There's a disturbing lack of songs about root beer.
Lack of root beer themed tunes.
Wait.
It didn't make the formula.
Surfin U.S.A. I listened to the Butthole Surfers' second album. I have extensive notes on that. I think I misunderstood this whole...
You missed the
Whole
assignment.
It's all right. Switching gears here now, people.
All right. No more Butthole Surfers. We're going to be talking Beach Boys, Surfin U.S.A.
Oh, I was switching gears to Butthole Surfers, but okay.
Oh.
Fine.
Album 2. This is a good one.
All right. Well, hey, before we get into talking about the album, you know, we have to establish some rapport, some banter. Right? That's
Yeah,
just
we
what
just
do.
bantered.
Yeah, I know, but we need more than 2 minutes of it. Like, I don't know. Back on the old show, Strange Currencies podcast, we used to do a listener update, you know,
okay.
every once in a while. I kind of want to this time.
Okay.
All right.
I'm curious.
Here's the number. 77, which we've been led to believe is rounded up to the nearest million.
Yes.
77 million. Now, here's the thing. I don't want us to be too... I don't want to say we're a podcast with 77 million listeners just because we know that the real number is maybe probably something like 76.8 million.
Right. If we want to be accurate, but...
So we should be... Yeah, we shouldn't yet advertise this as a podcast with 77 million listeners.
Okay. Well,
we want to be accurate.
But we're in the ballpark, you know?
Which, not bad for a week.
Yeah.
Right?
It's pretty good.
You know...
I was expecting a little better, but whatever.
I think that's pretty good. It's more... I guess it's more followers than we have on Instagram, but less than we have on Strange Currencies, so it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
We have 52 million followers on the Instagram.
Oh, there we go.
We also used to do controversies and corrections, I think. So I have one thing that I wasn't able to confirm. So an Al Jardine expert is going to have to contact us with the truth.
Okay.
But according,
Maybe we can get Al on the show.
yeah, there you go. So I am a Wikipedia scholar, and according to Wikipedia, Al Jardine did not go into dental school, did not apply for dental school until 1964. So that may or may not be accurate. I've seen different things. I tried to confirm it, and I found an article, kind of like an Ask the Expert kind of thing, and that person was under the impression that he went off to medical school or whatever, and that's why David Marks moved in, which is the going story.
Well, that's what we said.
Yeah.
So that's what's correct.
But I didn't click through to the source on Wikipedia, so I don't know where that information came from. So Al is going to have to call in and confirm.
Yeah, Al, if you could give us a ring. We want to know. Yeah.
Hey, you can call me Al.
Hey, you yelled at me for making that dumb pun.
Hey, that one was at least funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order before we dive into this album, or take a break and dive into the album?
I don't know, but is Al Jardine here? Is he in? He's in this, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Or wait. Actually, stand by.
Stand by.
Wikipedia expert Tim.
All right. Well, maybe he can look at that over the break.
He does show up on not on Surfin U.S.A. No, not on this album.
Yeah.
Sorry. We may or may not be recording multiple podcasts today, so
Right.
he's not on Surfin U.S.A.
We knock out podcasts like every 3 months, you know, kind of like, we were dropping them out, kind of like the Beach Boys, just knocking them out one after the other. So
Yeah.
that's how we do it.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick break, and we will come back and start talking about Surfin U.S.A.
I'm so exhausted. Thank you for taking a break.
Good.
and we're back on Talking Down the Highway, the Beach Boys podcast, talking about the album Surfin U.S.A. Last week we were discussing the Beach Boys' debut record, Surfin Safari.
Yeah.
There's a lot of surfing here.
We've been all over. We've safaried. We are now Surfin U.S.A.
Yeah.
We've been international. Now we're
out of the jungle.
Yeah, out of the jungle.
Into the ocean.
Yeah. The American Ocean.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, just sort of to recap last week, we enjoyed Surfin' Safari. It's a quirky, fun little record.
So here, yeah,
A couple of bangers.
If Surfin' Safari is that like novelty, kind of like quirky, weird, I feel like this is what, 3 months later. Is that right? 3 months later?
Something like that.
Not
They put out
long.
like 1 million albums this year.
But not much longer. And now this feels less like weird novelty
Right.
practice. This feels a little bit more polished now, but it's definitely like more like a product. Like hey, okay.
More digestible.
More digestible, but also like thinking like, okay, here's what worked or what didn't work 3 months ago in Surfin' Safari. You know, yeah, we were all over the place, county fair, root beer. Let's maybe lean a little bit more into the surf stuff. Let's add some more like surf rock.
It's more
guitar.
thematic, it's more consistent in its sort of themes,
Right.
I guess. Yeah.
Right.
The word that I used in the catalog crawl was confidence.
Yeah.
There's a lot more confidence in this record than on Surfin' Safari. In that it doesn't feel like they're rushing to write. Well, I don't know. We'll get into some specific songs.
There's definitely some filler here.
Oh, absolutely. But it just seems like there's more of a sense of we're a band now, rather than we had this little quirky regional hit, and now we need to quickly put together a record worth of other material around it. This feels like a band that's been playing a little bit together now and has some more confidence as a musical unit.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's I don't know, I got the record right here.
Yeah.
The LP.
Long player.
This is Capitol, right?
This is Capitol.
How does Capitol sell this album? What do they say on the jacket?
The number one surfing group in the country, the Beach Boys, Surfin U.S.A. And there's
Sounds
this,
just like that too.
pretty intense picture. This guy's hanging tan, I believe, is the phrase that they might use.
Okay.
Hey, it sounds like it's time for an episode of Sound and Vision.
What?
All right, Sound and Vision, where we discuss all things aesthetic and give it a ranking on the David Bowie scale. The best of which you can score, Glenn, is a
Low.
And the worst rating that you can get is, Tim?
Never Let Me Down.
In which David Bowie really, really let us down.
That was a low point.
Yeah. Don't confuse it, Glenn. Yeah. And then we got a middle ground where we're like, this is okay. We can live with it. Let's dance.
Let's dance. Yeah.
Do you want to dance?
No, let's dance. Sure.
So this here album cover, again, dude hanging 10, catching a wave.
I was going to say, if his toes aren't on the front of the board, so I don't think he's hanging 10.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's what that means, huh?
Yeah.
Toes on the nose.
There you go.
Yeah.
But he's definitely surfing.
He
and
is.
Probably in the USA.
Okay. Never let me down. No question. This album cover is
Generic?
awful. It's generic. It feels like a rando compilation album. It feels like this is a stock image somebody Capitol grabbed and threw it on. There's no personality here. I get that it's like surfing, but it might as well just be a random compilation.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the personality is lacking. There's only one boy on the cover. We don't know if we don't know if he's a beach boy,
Right.
or just some random dude.
How do we know?
But
No
I mean,
Pendletons, no.
It is a very large wave, so
And he's catching it.
and he's catching it. He's well, wait, that's the next one. But I'll give it a Let's Dance just because it's kind of an epic picture. But you're right, it doesn't have the personality, the personalized touch, and it is very generic. So maybe a low Let's Dance. Oops, shit. Sorry.
Come on.
On the
A
bottom.
soft let's dance.
There you go.
A Let's Dance foxtrot, if you will.
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with you. I mean, it's not a low, but it's certainly not a Never Let Me Down. It's a kind of striking image. It's got a drama to it for sure. And I don't necessarily I feel like, okay, maybe you might have seen some other rando surf compilations like this, but they are ripping this off. Like this is I wouldn't know that I'd say iconic image, but it's cool. This is their surfiest record, really. Mm-hmm. And I think they're leaning into that with the cover imagery. And I think it's a cool picture. I like the typography enough. I really like when the song titles are on the front cover as well too.
Oh, that is nice.
So they do
and
all
they
those
appear
things.
to be in order, which is I feel like is unusual. Actually,
That is kind of unusual. But yeah, I mean, no, it's not totally in order, and it doesn't have all of them on it actually, right? Oh wait, no, it does. Sorry, again, we've been listening to these records kind of.
Yeah, no, it's in order.
Yeah, it is in order. You're right.
I like that they pulled the yellow from the surfboard for Surfin U.S.A.
I
Color
like it.
theory is good. I just
Glenn,
again,
you really have to say this is not a Never Let. We will encounter Never Let Me Downs, and this isn't one of them.
all right. Well, then it's
not offensive.
It's a low Let's Dance then.
No.
I mean soft.
Come on.
It's generic. Again, it feels
Yes.
like something you could
Yes.
get on. It feels like something that you would have bought on Time Warner television.
I think
like
so.
as seen on TV. All the surf hits.
It's a good
style.
photo. The composition is good, but it's generic in the sense that like if some record label were to put out a compilation of surf music, let's just put a picture of a
They
surfer
could
on
have
it.
swapped out
So,
the title, and
yeah.
it would have been fine.
But for me, it's still a Let's Dance for sure.
Yeah. All right. Hey,
Solid episode.
solid episode. Yeah. I'd give that episode a Let's Dance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
A hard Let's Dance.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Okay.
We've done better.
Yeah, we have.
Okay. I want to talk actually a little bit about back cover. This is aside from the aesthetic element, but just sort of the PR, the press kind of thing. Although on the back there's some other, there's some nice pictures. It looks like an outtake picture from the Surfin Safari thing, and it looks like maybe it's Dennis fixing the truck.
Okay.
Perhaps. So
I know they
that's
did.
cool.
There was a whole photo shoot there, and they would use those images kind of like on singles and follow-up albums. So yeah, it was probably that same shoot.
So it has one of those classic, write-ups on the back of an album. This was a big thing in the 50s and 60s where you got to get to know the artist just a little bit and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and just read it. It's short enough. Surf's up. Here come the Beach Boys, #1 surfing group in the country. Here's the group that started the surf dancing craze all over the country, even in places where the newest thing to surf is maybe the froth on a chocolate shake. The Beach Boys, a brawny, suntanned fivesome, have been riding the crest of success since their song Surfin' became an overnight rage. Their first Capitol album, Surfin' Safari, see below, made them nationwide symbols for the exhilarating sport that has taken America by storm. And here they are again with another good set of heavies. 12 more rockin', sweet rollin' tunes, just right for surf, dancing, singing along, or listening, wet or dry.
I love sweet rolls.
The Beach Boys include the Wilson brothers, Brian, Dennis, and Carl of Hawthorne, California, their cousin Mike Love, and a neighbor, the youngest member of the group, David Marks, 14.
Wow.
Brian is the leader and writes most of the songs. Mike Love is the fine lead singer. Carl is lead guitarist. Dennis sings and plays drums. And young David is no gremlin. He plays the toes on the nose rhythm guitar.
What is the asterisk there?
Yeah, so it does have some definitions for us,
Wow,
just in
thank you,
case.
thank
so
you.
those not familiar with the wet variety of surfing might like to know that. Asterisk. A good set of heavies is a run of really big waves, the best kind for high-speed riding. 2 asterisks here. A gremlin is a beginning surfer.
Oh.
And then this little cross thingy. Toes on the nose means riding way up front, standing with the toes right on the nose of the board for maximum speed and thrills.
There you go.
Yeah. So, digging into this here. The only member that gets any kind of a compliment other than just like, here's who they are, of course, Mike Love, the fine lead singer.
I mean,
It makes me think, did Mike write this This sounds like something Mike might have had a hand in.
It might be whoever's writing this being like, this guy doesn't play an instrument. You
gotta say something.
Gotta say, yeah. We can't say he's a great guitar player. I guess he's a fine lead. He's fine.
He's fine.
Whatever. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. That kind of annoys me.
Wow.
Hmm.
All right. But anyway.
Funny that the pictures on the back, probably with the exception of David Marks, because he would have been like 11, seem to be like taken 3 years prior, like the headshots. Because like you got the really skinny Brian, and I don't know. I just think the picture of Brian is not like current. Maybe it is to 63. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is only just a few months after the first album. Too.
That's true.
I mean, Mike's getting pretty bald. Yeah.
Man, how many albums are they knocking out here? This is inside that 63 here,
like 3 or 4,
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
That's
knocking out
crazy.
albums like normal folks knock out chocolate shakes.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd knock them out of your hand when you're drinking one, so I can. I don't know.
Have it?
Trying to come up with something there didn't work.
It didn't work.
That was lame. Too.
Wow.
All right. Well, hey. So this is an album. Comes
It's an
a few
album.
a few months after their last one.
So
They're wasting no time. We've established that.
And again, the fact that you pointed out that really schmaltzy PR'd cover, that twice on the packaging they had to mention that they're the number one surfing group in the country, so you know it's true. But like again, this feels like a product, something that they put together. That hey, this has some. Let's squeeze out some money here. Let's make a product that can sell.
It's definitely like riding the wave, so to speak,
Ooh,
because
I see what you did there.
of their early success, which
Yeah.
maybe they didn't expect. So,
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot.
Right.
Exactly, which is fine. Like there's some good stuff on here that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Hey, as somebody who hosts a podcast with almost 77 million listeners, I know what it's. You gotta when people are interested, you gotta keep giving them more
Yep.
and more.
You gotta
because
grind.
People are insatiable. So yeah, hey, let's take another quick break, and then we're going to dive into the first side of this record. Talk about those songs. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Marks, and I wish I was still in the Beach Boys. Actually, I'm Tim, and this is Talking Down the Highway, and we're talking about Surfin U.S.A, the second album by the Beach Boys.
Ooh, which happens to be coincidentally track 1 on the A side.
Ooh.
Yeah, drop the needle, Surfin USA. You get that sweet little lick. from-
Title track is track 1? What? Hey, that sounds familiar.
Well, we have to do it that way so that we don't get sued by Mike Love.
Right. Or by Chuck Berry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Pretty much like blatant ripoff.
Yeah, it's almost beat for beat.
Shameless. I will say, of course, this is pretty much, if you haven't listened to Chuck Berry's Sweet Little 16 recently, it's the same song.
It is. There's like the chorus element of this is a little different, but yeah, it's like
To the point where
yeah.
at one point, like Barry got paid royalties, right? Like they added.
he's a
his name.
co-writer on the song.
And yet, even still, Mike Love sued Chuck Berry for ripping off Mike Love's song. Probably.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
It's dismissed. But,
I think.
Did he really?
Well,
No.
I was going to say, I think. No, it might be true. There was a
I wouldn't
song.
put it past him.
I came across one song that Mike Love did not get credit for because the rights were owned by somebody else. It might have been this one.
Did Mike really write My Ding-a-ling? Or
He
maybe
is a
that was
ding-a-ling.
written about Mike Love.
I was going to say, yeah. But he was suing over lyrics, I'm sure. So like he probably said he came up with some of the new lyrics for this or something like that. But good song. It's a real banger.
And it was popular at the time. Like it was a charter at the time. And so like this wasn't like when I say this was a shameless cover, like they weren't hiding it. It was like, yeah, this is a really popular song. let's put our spin on it, which I think is kind of par for the course. Like that's something that was done, that was common. And so, of course, if they're a surf band, let's change it and let's put some surf lyrics to it.
And the anecdote that I like is that, who was it? Brian went to his girlfriend's brother was a surfer, and so he went to that guy, like, what are the big surf spots? Because I don't know. I just want to put them all in a song. And he gave him all those locations that are mentioned in the song. So,
which is funny because like not all of them are in the USA. Like he mentions like Australia, a beach in Australia.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't quite. It didn't all completely make sense to me, but I guess the premise is there. Like we're surfing everywhere. It's all. Which, okay, so at the risk of triggering Matt's history nerddom, because, as evidence, Matt is kind of the historian of the group. By the way, how is your music history class going?
It's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
All right, you're like a quarter in.
Yeah. Folk music right now.
Oh, okay. All right, get through the anthology.
Yeah.
Nice.
Share a little Harry Smith with them this week.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Well, hey, speaking of, and maybe you can give us a little bit more, but like when I was diving back into the Chuck Berry, I was like, what was it about this Surfin USA that was kind of so iconic? And, one of the things about Chuck Berry, late 50s, is like this whole Dwight D. Eisenhower interstate freeway system, right, is starting to kind of drum up. And so like Chuck Berry kind of was embodying that ride, that touring, that...
Sorry, I'm watching the Phillies game, and Bryce Harper just hit a home run into the second
hell?
deck. So. Hey, I didn't react when Trey Turner booted what should have been a double play and led to 2 runs for the Mets, but... This is a never let me down moment.
Never let me down.
This was a low home run.
Wow.
Anyway, all right, sorry about that.
So we're... I don't know how to recover from that.
Anyway, there's freeways now.
Lots of them.
Lots of them. Going from Philadelphia all the way to...
La Jolla.
La Jolla. Okay.
It's pronounced La Jolla.
La Jolla.
Oh, there we go.
But like this whole idea of here we are in Middle America is this coast to coast phenomenon. So enter in all of Chuck Berry's kind of ride-in songs, hot rod rock. These car songs are coming up, and I think surfing benefits from that mentality, that American kind of like desire to get out on the road.
Yeah, get on the road, head out west, go surf with these boys.
Maybe that's why like the surfing and hot rod things sort of go together.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, they're both like quintessential parts of California youth culture.
The mythos,
you were a surfer or you were a car guy,
or both.
No.
I mean, these guys were singing about both.
But they were neither.
Some crossover.
They were singers.
That's true.
They were documenting what they saw around them. Right? They're
I prefer the word. I prefer the word liars.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of liars, so you're talking about Brian. I guess goes to his girlfriend's brother. In that movie we were talking about.
I meant to watch it, but I still haven't.
Yeah, they totally show it as Mike writes the song.
Oh, okay.
Like he comes up to Brian's like, hey, so like here's the name of all these places that we surf. I was thinking, just sort of start putting them in there, throwing them in there.
Was Mike Love the executive producer of this TV movie?
I want to say John Stamos had something to do with it.
Okay.
So hey.
Yeah, they're buddies.
Hey, you know what? It sounds like it's time for an episode of Heroes and Villains. Heroes and Villains, where we discuss the heroes and the villains, whatever it is we happen to be talking about this week. And this week's hero is
Chuck
Bryce
Berry.
Harper. Oh.
See, I was thinking maybe Chuck Berry, but I don't like the whole trafficking
thing. Did Chuck Berry just hit a second deck home run?
and like the whole didn't he like fart in like a dancer's mouth or something like that?
What?
He was like not a good guy.
Not a good guy.
He was a weird dude.
Right. like a rapist, I guess. What did he do? Sex trafficking. Let's just let's not include him.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
The freeway.
Good old Ike, right? We like Ike.
Like Ike.
Kinda. I don't know about that whole military buildup and trying to cover it all with, hey, beware of the military-industrial complex that I totally fucking... Yeah, anyway.
Easy historian nerd.
Okay. Hero...
I mean, the default is Brian.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Brian. It's still Brian. Yeah.
He's essentially at this point now taking he doesn't officially get
Producer credits.
credits, but really we're starting to see more. These tracks are more polished now, and we'll talk about some of those.
He's taking this very, very seriously.
He is.
Right? I mean, you can tell that he is putting intense care into the work that this band is doing at this point, and he's elevating him to something that is clearly just much more than a little teen fad, you know?
Yep.
Capitol might want product, but Brian's like, if they're going to demand an album every few months, I am going to give them the best possible album that I can.
Yeah.
And that's heroic.
It is. So who's the villain?
The villain is who?
John Stamos came to mind just because, but we'll get into him more later. But
the villain is the PR guy that wrote that Mike Love is a fine vocalist.
No, the villain is Matt for interrupting the podcast
Hey,
with baseball
seriously?
shit.
hey,
Baseball
come on.
shit.
Yes! Dodgers just clinched the National League!
Wait, is that true?
Wait,
No,
no.
it's
Okay.
not.
I was just interrupting Matt.
Because fucking
What are they dodging exactly?
I don't know. Trolleys. And Woodies.
Woodies are the hero
Yeah.
of every Beach Boys album. No, it's Mike Love.
It's Mike
Just
Love.
It's always Mike.
because
always Mike.
particularly because of that incorrect thing in that TV movie.
Yeah.
which is completely unrelated to this, but still.
Still.
All right. Hey,
Fine episode.
fine episode.
Let's dance.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
That's all right. That's okay. All right. So anything else to say about the song Surfin USA?
It's iconic. It needs to be on every compilation.
It was based on some of those performance videos I've been watching of them doing in concert. It's like a real crowd pleaser too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
and
sure.
it's like Dennis on the drums going crazy.
I was going to say, so we talked last week about, Dennis's capabilities as a drummer, and you said you really liked his drumming, and I was kind of like, but at this moment, he's a pretty, consider he's only been playing for
Right.
less than a year, maybe, when they did this.
And
And
I've
he's
heard
coming along. He's a good propulsive drummer
Right.
at this point.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that this isn't Dennis playing on the recording.
Oh, really?
But like, I don't know, seeing some of those live
credited. Yeah.
seeing those live concert recordings, I'm like, get it, Dennis. Like, they sound great. And that was the other thing. I was just A-Bing that Chuck Berry song. I like Carl's tone on here. Like, it's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different from Chuck Berry's and unique. I mean, I dig it.
Actually, I don't know if there are performance credits on this one. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's Dennis, but
I usually go to Rate Your Music for performance credits because
that's a good idea. I was going to Discogs just to look at jackets and stuff. and I
yeah,
don't think it was
Discogs
on
is
there.
usually pretty okay, but Discogs does pull really heavily from whatever's on a jacket sleeve.
Yeah.
And I would also like to comment, since we've been mentioning Chuck Berry, Brian would be a great DJ, and Sweet Little 16 would be on that, DJ mix if Brian got aux. And he was like, at the sock hop. He was spinning. We would hear Chuck Berry.
My final comment is this is a prominent Mike Love lead vocal, but one of few on this album.
Yeah. That's one of the things I wanted to get into on here is that there's a lot less Mike Love on this album than one would expect. 4 songs in which he is the lead vocalist.
And 3 Brian leads, which is, not as many, but still it's approaching.
Well, I would like to say, you both mentioned, I think, the formula that we're going to write about cars, we're going to write about surfing.
Oh, hold on.
Is there another baseball play happening?
No. On Rate Your Music, track A1, Frank DeVito
On drums?
on drums.
See,
hell is that?
that's
I don't know, but Dennis is credited as drummer for everything else.
Okay.
But yeah,
Maybe
Frank DeVito.
Maybe that's Danny's
But
song.
again, I think that's controversial because I've heard people debate
Disputed?
that. Yeah, dispute that.
Actually, that's a hilarious name because Frank is Danny DeVito's name on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, interesting. Denny, maybe Denny.
Danny.
Denny DeVito, Denny. Maybe
Anyway,
that's what he puts.
We're
when
like
he
Charlie
reserves
with
something.
that board and all the strings. Okay, anyway.
Okay, so the formula is okay. Let's write about hot rods or surfing. I'd argue you're missing the other third. Let's write about girls.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I think those are the 3 wells that they keep going back to.
triumvirate.
And track 2,
It's like the Red Hot Chili Peppers of their time. California, girls, Or Girls in California.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, track 2, we're talking about a girl, Farmer's Daughter.
She sounds nice.
She does seem nice, especially when Brian sings in his falsetto about her. She seems really nice.
Yeah, you got a nice, good, strong lead vocal from Brian there.
Yeah.
I haven't really paid close attention to these lyrics. I'm sure they're very appropriate, normal.
They're dumb.
Farmer's Daughters, I think that would repeat in California Girls, right? The Midwest Farmer's Daughters.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a theme.
They gotta sing.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all right. They're wholesome boys.
We're all over
they
the
want
USA.
They want a wholesome girl.
We've been surfing all over the
They just want to
USA.
hold hands. Yeah,
And the ones in the Midwest, the Farmer's Daughters, are good too.
they have the best hands.
Good.
They make you feel all right.
They've got calluses. All right.
This is a nice song. Yeah, and again, a really nice Brian lead vocal. Yola Tango did a cover of this.
Interesting.
It's good. It's just really chill, low key.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next song brings up something else I was going to mention, which is how many instrumentals are on this one, which is bizarre for like such a vocal heavy group, and may have something to do with the rush factor.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like we won't have to spend nearly as much time on these songs if they're just instrumental. But the one they choose here is Miserlou,
Yeah.
which I don't know why anyone would want to cover ostensibly the Dick Dale version of that song because it's perfect as is.
Right.
But it's okay.
They acquit themselves fine.
They do.
I mean, yeah, you listen to it next to the Dick Dale version, it's like, okay, whatever. These guys are clearly
It's just like next level.
amateurs, but it's not bad.
It's not bad.
They handle themselves fine.
Poor Carl. Like, he's 16 years old.
I think he does a decent job.
Yeah, he does. But I'm just saying, like, hey, Carl, you're 16. Here, play a Chuck Berry song. Play a Dick Dale song. Like,
I mean, that's a good point that he actually holds up pretty
he
well.
does. He does.
But just this one, I'm thinking more of like the production and just the weird like yelps that are going on the Dick Dale one. It just has this whole atmosphere that's not present here, but it's still, it's a faithful cover.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you listen to this one, and you're like, all right, this is pretty good. And then you would listen to the Dick Dale one right after. And you're like, okay, that's okay. But yeah, it's fine. They're kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have Mike Love on it.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, what's he going to do? Just the hand jive or whatever?
He's dancing like a fucking idiot.
Is that the surf dancing that was referred to on that jacket?
Probably. Yeah.
Stupid, like, you got to squat down and do this with your hands.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, good that there's not very many of them because we can make it through Mr. Lou and get it to the next track, which is
Stoked.
Well,
another
it's another
instrumental.
instrumental with they say the word stoked.
Yeah,
but
that's an instrumental.
This one's written by Brian, and I like this one a lot. Actually, it's very basic 12-bar format, but I just like how that little riff it comes in on the and of one. It's a little different that way. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
so I like it. It's like a minor song, not minor key, but just like not very consequential. But it's catchy.
Yeah. I like it.
I think it's fine. I think it reminds me, we referenced this live footage Tim sent around a text. I don't know. You put it on the Instagrams, yeah?
No, but I can.
All right.
I put clips of him dancing stupid, yeah.
Right. But so there's some footage of them right around this time, doing live sets. And this song Stoked reminds me like this is a product. This is them putting on a concert. These are the kinds of songs that they get the crowd going with, and they bridge between their hits. Because again, like at this time, we're not really an album band. This is a singles band. I don't know if an album band exists at this point, but they've got their hit songs, and we got to have some that kind of get the crowd going.
I mean, as far like there's a little bit of filler on this album, but it's generally pretty good quality filler, I'd say. And at least, there's a few examples of like, it's filler, but it's still good.
Yeah, it's all pleasant. There's nothing that's embarrassing on it, really.
Well, again, that's my point, is that my problem with Stoked is that it's one more unfortunate, potentially moment to encourage Mike Love to do that stupid hand jive.
But you don't have to hear that on the record.
That's true.
Right. So
we've got a nice reprieve from Mike Love here.
See, but now after I saw that concert footage, now I can't like listen to a Beach Boys instrumental and not imagine Mike on the side of the stage just trying to milk the audience.
If anyone,
every time I hear "Let's Go Away for a While" on Pet Sounds, this beautiful orchestral thing, I love Mike's out there, thumbs out.
If anyone wants to see this in person, you want to look up Beach Boys Tammy Show, TAMI. Which is a concert film with all kinds of bands.
Yeah.
On the full version, Jan and Dean does a couple songs and then introduces the Beach Boys. But yeah, you'll see Mike Love over on the side anytime he's not singing, he's doing this really stupid dance.
Yeah.
There's also something called the Beach Boys Lost Concert, which is like a full 20, 25-minute concert of them. I don't think he does that dance, but he does a lot of other goofy shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Incidentally, the Leslie Gore performance from the Tammy Show is really good.
Oh yeah, I gotta look that up. I want to watch the whole thing. I haven't.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. All right, Lonely Sea.
Yeah.
Great.
Beautiful.
It is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice Brian ballad. The first great Brian ballad.
Yeah, I think so. And another example of like, oh, here's Brian's voice again, as opposed to some other guy. And this is another Bob or Gary Usher collab.
The not so good Neighborhood Boy.
That's right, the bad boy.
Yeah.
Well, so I like the reason I like Lonely Sea is because I think this is that first step. I don't want to spend too much time because we will later. But like Surfer Girl was written first. I think we've alluded to that. But for some reason, it doesn't end up until we don't see it until their third album.
Well, yeah, and if you hear that early version of Surfer Girl that's
Right.
on that thing we talked about, it's clearly not the song that we all know and love. But
I think Lonely Sea gives us a glimpse that, a ballad could be like part of our formula.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we could do this. And so for that, I like this. I'm not super stoked about the, I'm not very excited about the talking part. It's kind of like,
See, I like that though. I think it's cheesy, but it's funny. I like it. But it is thematically cohesive with the rest of the album and their whole like surfing ocean theme.
but it's not as shallow as most of the corny, cheeky surfing hot rod girls.
it's an early indicator that there's some depth.
Yeah, Lonely Sea never stops for you or me. There's some heart there. There's like some emotion.
And, I mean, part of that's probably that, you had another guy writing the lyrics, presumably Gary Usher. That was his contribution, I assume. Although he's usually writing about hot rods, so this is a sort of a departure for him, too.
Which, so again, that's part of the we don't know songwriting royalty. I don't know. Is this Brian? Who came up with that? I don't know.
I always assume it's like Brian music, Gary Usher lyrics, but maybe they collabed a little bit more than that. I'm not sure. I know Gary Usher would eventually put his own band together, but I don't know if he was a performer in it, but he was like
Was it Sagittarius?
Sagittarius,
right?
And I'm not even
It's
sure
a
how many songs he
real
wrote.
Baroque pop
Okay.
thing. It's like Kurt Bottcher.
So
We'll get there in time because that's a real Beach Boys knockoff in some ways, like Pet Soundsy kind of. Really, really good song. I always look at it as like a mirror image in a way of "Till I Die," which we'll get to that song way later. But there's a really, I don't know, kind of like a bookending sort of thing. Like this is maybe Brian's first great ballad, and for a lot of people, they consider "Till I Die" to be like the last great Brian Wilson statement in a way before he's kind of lost.
I'm not familiar with that one, or am I? What album
You've
is that
heard
on?
it before. It's on Surf's Up.
Okay, then I've definitely heard it.
Yeah. So I always kind of look at those as sort of bookend tracks. People talk about how like the great Beatles era, you could sum up where they were just a really cohesive band was between the first chord that is Hard Day's Night and the last chord of Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah.
Like even though they still made great music after that and even had some great stuff before it, that's like this, here's where the meat of their history is. And I kind of like think of that as Brian Wilson, kind of the artist Brian Wilson really kind of starts to come into form with Lonely Sea. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Last song on the A side, another banger.
Yep. Shut Down. So
Gotta be cool.
we're back to Mike Love singing lead.
Hot Rod.
And this is a Hot Rod song, but this time lyrics by Roger Christian, who was a radio DJ with an interesting backstory as far as how he came into contact with the Beach Boys. Murray Wilson actually heard him on the radio explaining the song 409 to a listener. because it has all the terminology, the car terminology, and he was like breaking it all down, like what a dual, quad, whatever thing means. And Murray heard that and got in touch with him, and then got him in touch with Brian, and they started to collaborate. And Christian would go on to work with Jan and Dean, and like he did at least 3 songs with Brian for the Beach Boys too. So
All right.
Deuce Coupe, I think, was the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good song. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it, but it's another good car song.
Mike plays 2 notes on the sax.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
he gets because he's credited as saxophone.
Literally 2 notes.
Notes. Great.
This is another, like, at this point in their output, I really like the Hot Rod songs, you know. I guess, is it just 409 in this at this point?
So far, yeah.
So far? Okay.
Yeah, shut down.
Because they tend to be a little bit more more bangers, you know. They're a little bit more driving, so to speak. There's also a really dumb debate about this song. Again, according to the experts at Wikipedia, which is which driver wins the race. Oh. And because apparently the song that that Mike Love's character, whatever, is talking about is a fuel injected Chevy Stingray, and the other one, the 413, is a Dodge Dart. And I guess, like, all things being equal, the Dart would definitely win. And even in the lyrics, it says, like, oh, the 413's lead is starting to shrink, but it's in the lead. And then this guy's pressure plate is burning, or whatever that means. But then at the end, the lyric is...
Alec Bohm. Sorry, go ahead.
At the end, the lyric is, buddy, now I shut you down, implying that he did shut him down and win.
Yeah.
But... the experts say that probably
no
isn't possible. Anyway,
Mike is
big
just such a
controversy.
great driver.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. He's got control of his machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He could win on a bike. He could win on neighborhood boy David Marks' little Huffy.
He is a fine driver.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
All right,
fine.
hey, we're getting a little long here already. All right,
yeah.
so let's take a quick break and come back for side 2 of Surfin USA.
We're back talking down the highway. Thank you to our sponsors, A&W, for that little plug during that commercial break. Isn't
No, that was some of our royalty-free music. Royalty-free to us.
Yeah, but we can swap that royalty-free
Not for
music
you.
out
Right.
for monetized ads,
Well,
right?
eventually Al Jardine is going to be our spokesperson, and he's going to do live reads of A&W commercials.
There
Yeah.
it is. Give me some root beer.
Hi, I'm Al Jardine. When I drink root beer, it's always A&W.
Or it could be Barks or
Yeah, whoever gives us money.
Dads.
Yeah, we'll give Al like a 5%
Henry
cut.
Weinhardt.
All right, we're on side B, and we got to keep it strong with the surfing because this is Surfin U.S.A, the album. So, Noble Surfer.
Yeah, I like this one. I think it's fun. It's another Mike Love vocal. It's
corny.
Lead. It's totally corny, but that's... we're talking about the weirdness of this band, and this album is a lot less weird than the previous one.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty square at times. And like this is one of those that's like really dorky but catchy.
This feels like this should be on Surfin' Safari.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
song is one of those kind of quirky, weird, corny.
Yeah.
No bull surfer. Really?
I always get it confused and part of it's because we're doing the 2 albums at once, and I'm thinking ahead of Noble Surfer. But that's South Bay Surfer on the next one. But yeah. It's fine. It's there. It doesn't offend me. But
I'm just happy that we get those harmonies. I like that.
It's got a little... I always forget if a xylophone has metal keys or wooden ones, but it has like a xylophone or
is
maybe
it
glockenspiel. Yeah.
glockenspiel's metal, xylophone is wood.
Is it wood? Okay, so maybe it's a glockenspiel. That I'm
or
hearing.
is it a vibraphone?
I was
No, it's a Celeste.
It's a
Oh,
Celeste.
Celeste. What is that?
I think it's pronounced Celeste.
Sure.
It's like an in-between
That's
thing.
Celeste.
Oh, no. There's like mallet stuff going on.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay, Brian is credited as playing both Celeste and glockenspiel.
Glockenspiel. Okay.
Of course he's playing.
It just sounded like lower in pitch than that, like maybe like a vibes without the vibration thing turned on. But okay, it's a Glock.
It's Glock.
And more dumb lyrics. Like I that live that live footage concert. Mike sings. I don't remember what song it was, but he mentions a Woody, and all the girls scream.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ooh, this works. They all scream when I say Woody, so let's drop a Woody in here."
There's all kinds of all kinds of Woodies in these songs.
Man, yeah.
Anyway,
They were Toy Story.
I feel like again, hey, maybe it's a time for an episode of "Where's My Friggin' Root Beer," where we discuss the strange obsessions of the Beach Boys. No,
Sure. Yeah, we need some.
they're obsessed with Woodies, is what I'm saying here.
Okay. Yeah. I find the weirdest thing about this album to be the fact that they are just so committed to the bit of being surfers, but they're not surfers.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's the most weird thing about this record to me. It's nowhere near as bizarre as the first album.
It isn't.
no. But they can't wait to get their hands on some Woodies. Let me tell you.
They're into it. Hey, and that's okay. Totally fine, guys. It's okay. All right.
Honky Tonk.
Another
is
instrumental.
The track 2, another instrumental.
I honestly don't even remember what this one sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's about the most inconsequential
Yeah.
of them.
Another reminder that Capitol has made a product here, thinking like, oh great, here's an instrumental track that we can sell for the next teeny bopper movie that needs a beach travel montage. Like, that's what this song is.
And it's some kind of cover, too.
Background.
It's like Bill Doggett. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
It's inconsequential.
Yeah.
All right, now track 3 though. Lana.
Another big Brian vocal.
Yep.
Yeah, Brian vocal. I think it's a glockenspiel doubling the guitar part in there.
I definitely heard more glockenspiel in there. Yeah.
I mean, this ranks low on my my Beach Girls playlist.
So this is really, really a great song, is what you're saying?
It ranks Never Let Me Down.
Okay.
Never Let Me Down on my Beach
All I'm
Girls
asking from you,
playlist.
Glenn, is
Sorry,
some clarity,
consistency.
okay?
It ranks.
Come on.
It ranks Mike Love on your.
It ranks Mike Love on my Beach Girls. Okay. I mean, definitely Barbara Ann, Rhonda, Marcella are some of the better, Beach Girls songs. But this it's one of them. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
I like it.
I mean, he wrote it for Lana Del Rey, right?
I assume.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It did get me going and making a Beach Girls playlist, and it did. I went and found Barbie and Judy, some early tracks they did with
those demos.
Bruce Morgan, that ended up being released like under the name Kenny and the Cadets, which was kind of an interesting. I think that was in '62, so like before this.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know if you. But the funny thing about that is Kenny and the Cadets, or Bruce Morgan, had these instrumentals and was like, hey, let's put some vocals on them. And so he got Brian Wilson to sing lead on them. And so there's a couple of Beach Girls songs out there with Brian Wilson singing lead. Huh. Is it Judy? Yeah, Judy and Barbie.
I gotta look those up. I haven't heard those.
Yeah, they're good, and I mean they're forgettable, but it's like it's a reminder. Hey, we don't have to fill them all with instrumentals. We can have Brian sing some. And fun thing about Kenny and the Cadets, they recognize true talent. The whole rock and roll trope, how like whenever there's a family band, there's one with talent and the rest are just like there. And it gets acknowledged here because when Bruce Morgan goes to find some musicians, he asks for Brian to sing lead, and then Al and Carl sing backup. No Mike Love.
Well, yeah.
Or Dennis.
All right.
Well, right.
Yeah.
So, further proof that Mike Love is unnecessary.
Right. Absolutely.
They had somebody else.
Tell me something I didn't already.
Val Poliuto sings the bass vocal part on those Kenny.
It's funny because they have a bass vocal part. Anyway.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Another instrumental next, but this one's written by Carl, Surf Jam.
Yeah.
I think possibly his first credit on an album as far as writer.
Go Carl.
I would think.
Go Carl.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Play that guitar. Just a quick note on this. I like there's kind of a shouted count in and then other sort of yelling happening, which I feel like is also a nod to Miserlou, to Dick Dale's Miserlou. But yeah, this one's fine. It's catchy. Not inconsequential still.
And then another instrumental, Let's Go Trippin'.
Which is also a Dick Dale cover.
Yeah. Jeez.
So yeah, I mean, they were definitely looking for quick and easy things to record to fill out the record.
It's a repertoire.
I just wish they would have. I just wish they would have done maybe like taken Judy or Barbie and given us. I mean, this is a band, the Beach Boys. They're the harmonies. Like that's what we want.
Right.
I don't know. I like that this album does lean really heavily into the surf thing, right?
Sure.
And that they have 5 instrumentals on here.
Yeah.
There's more instrumentals than Mike Love sung songs on.
Yeah.
here,
Hey,
which
that is,
great.
you know what? Now that you've mentioned that, that does give me a new, fresh appreciation for this collection.
Yeah.
And because then we got to wrap it up with Finders Keepers.
Finders Keepers.
Right, which I think is kind of a whatever song, but it is. So this is another Mike Love lead vocal, 104. I did look up the lyrics, and this is another like kind of weird, very
Story
square one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a throwback in the sense that it makes Mike Love look like an idiot again or like a loser.
I like that.
It's all about his surfboard being stolen. And then but there's some terminology I didn't know, like ho daddy.
Oh.
So this is not on the back cover of this album, like some other terminology was, but apparently a ho daddy is like a poser, like a wannabe surfer that doesn't really know how to do it, or they just kind of hang out and live vicariously through the other surfers.
Like Mike Love.
Like Mike Love.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this case, the surfboard gets stolen by a ho daddy. He does go out and start surfing with it. And the other thing he says is he mentions a meatball flag. Like the ho daddy starts to come back to shore when he shows him the meatball flag. And apparently that's a racing term. Like in a race, it's like a sun. It's like a black background with a big orange circle.
Okay.
And that's to call a car into the pit when it needs repairs.
Huh. Okay.
So I don't know.
I want a meatball sub now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also another Woody reference in this song.
there you go.
More obsession
Never have enough
with
Woodies.
the Woodies. No. And that stops at 23 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yep.
That is
tight.
Oof.
Well, it's enjoyable.
It is.
It's 23 and a half minutes of good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun.
With a lot of good Carl in it.
And hustle up because we got to crank out another one in 3 months. So,
Right.
Well, yeah.
you know, we're knocking them out.
If this is product in 1963 and people are like, oh, this is disposable pop, like if this is as bad as that gets, send me back to 1963.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'd love this.
And I want to continue to sprinkle this idea throughout this podcast. The run of the podcast is that Mike Love, having the time of his life in the early 60s as the frontman of this band, but slowly being overshadowed and eventually just being completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, this one he only sings lead on 4 songs. Brian's got 3, and then there's a bunch of instrumentals. So there's just less and less for him to do.
Yeah. While he's also like phically whittling away because that head just keeps getting more and more.
That's right, more exposed,
Yeah.
just like his lack of talent.
Only 2 saxophone notes on this album.
So I'm trying to like build this narrative of him getting more and more bitter and radicalized throughout this.
Yeah.
And then, to the day he has to be like a hardcore Trumper asshole.
Villain. Right.
All right, hey, we got to go to the rating then for this one. This is tough for me on our scale. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And again, for everybody, it's pinned on our Instagram page,
Yes.
Talkin' Beach Boys, where you can see what we're actually talking about here. Like when we say this album is a Wilson Phillips or whatever, look at that and you'll know what we're talking
Right. We go from Brian to Mike with some stuff in between.
about. Yeah. I love, I commented this at Strange Currencies, that the graphic, the mic face is hidden, obscured by the mute button.
Yeah.
Perfectly placed.
Yeah, I planned that.
Sure. All right. What are we rating it? You said this is difficult. Did you have a...
You go first.
Okay. So the previous album, I actually did kind of a wild card thing, and I gave it an Al Jardine, which is the equivalent of like a 7 for Surfin Safari. And that was based purely on like sort of the quirkiness and the weirdness and the squareness. This one is a lot less weird and square, but it's better musically, so it gets the same score, Al Jardine.
Okay. See, I disagree with your Al Jardine because I gave the last one a Bruce Johnson.
Right.
I did as well.
Which is
Which
like a
was
6.
like a 6 or a 3 on a 5-point scale.
Yeah.
And honestly, for different reasons, I'm gonna give this a 3 as well. A Bruce Johnston. Because like the charm of the first one, that it's like this novelty and like just weird and hokey. This one doesn't have Surfin U.S.A doesn't have that, but it's still interesting and cohesive, and it's got great songs on it. Bruce Johnston
But
for me.
it doesn't elevate beyond.
It doesn't
Surfin' Safari?
elevate. No,
Okay.
I'd probably
Maybe all the
toss.
instrumentals.
Yeah,
Take some points away.
but although I kind of want to give it up a little bit because there's no Mike Love on here, which is
Not as
makes
much.
me a little happier. But again, I think I do enjoy listening to Surfin' Safari just because of its weirdness.
Same.
In rating music, like, all right, we use this 10-point scale thing on, on Strange Currencies, but it's rare that you really find a whole lot that goes like sub 4. And then you have all these really, really special records that are, 8s and 9s and up and all that. And these ones fall somewhere in that middle. And it's tough to like, all right, well, this is a Bruce Johnston too, because I think it is. I think the first one's a Bruce Johnston. I think this one's also a Bruce Johnston, but they're like kind of at different, for me, ends of the Bruce Johnstonness. Like Surfin' Safari is a weak Bruce Johnston, and this is a reasonably strong Bruce Johnston. Okay. Not quite Al Jardine for me, just because, again, I'm thinking there's definitely Al Jardine albums coming up, maybe even really, really soon.
Yeah.
And so I'm still not ready to quite elevate this one yet. I do think it's considerably better than Surfin' Safari, but it's still Bruce Johnston.
See,
it's just on the upper echelon of the Bruce Johnston for me.
I think it's better, but I don't think it's as much fun to listen to.
Right.
Which is why I kind of have them kind of
the stupidity of Surfin' Safari is really kind charming, but the consistency of this one makes it better. Conventionally better. But they're both good.
Yeah,
I like both of them. I listen to both of them a lot. All right.
I wouldn't say a lot.
Well,
but,
I mean, I listen to the Beach Boys a
right.
ton.
Yeah.
Especially, summertime. I bust these records out all the time. And
Yeah.
they're like, again, you just said it, 23 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
So it's so easy while we're like cleaning up after dinner to throw on one of these records because they're so short.
And especially you drop the needle and Surfin' USA comes on. That's like, it's just iconic. Yeah.
I only listen to the Butthole Surfers. So.
Okay. All right.
You know, it'd be a good name for a band. The Butthole Surfer Girls.
Oh.
Ooh. Right. The Butthole
Suffragettes. Let's not bring them into this.
Free the suffragettes, by the way. All right, hey, let's take one last really quick break, and then we'll come back to wrap it all up in just a minute. Good.
Yeah. Solid Bruce
Surfin'
Johnston there.
Surfin' U.S.A. Yeah. Solid Bruce Johnston. Feels like it's a euphemism or something.
Oh, man, I had a real solid Bruce Johnston before I got here. It wasn't easy, I'll tell you that.
It was made with pure cane sugar.
You can find us, all right? We're out there on the internet.
We are Talking Beach Boys.
Talking Beach Boys on Instagram.
And we need more followers. I had the going theory that, every day I post, we seem to gain like a follower or two. So I'm going to start posting more. But in the last 2 days, I've made posts and we haven't gained a single one.
Come on, people.
We only have 52 million followers, and we need at least 54 million.
And we need a lot more followers on Strange Currencies Music as well, too. So, I mean, you're going to probably see some comments and likes by Strange Currencies Music on Talking Beach Boys. So, if you like one, like the other.
Click around.
We're the same people.
Solid.
Also, hey, if you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe.
Yeah.
That helps.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash
Isn't that what the kids say?
That's what it's there for.
Like and subscribe.
Like it and subscribe.
Smash it like a chocolate milkshake.
These things matter, and we want to monetize so we can go on the Beach Boys cruise.
That's it.
That's right.
And have all the root beer we want.
And push Mike Love off the deck.
What? No.
Hey.
Our legal department.
This will be used in court someday.
Our legal department has informed us that that is not what we plan to do.
Yeah. Hey, we'll be back next week to talk about Surfer Girl. Yeah. All right. We'll see you that time, or then, whenever, whatever.
See ya.
Bye.